Did you know that the number of women incarcerated in the United States has increased by more than 700% since the early 1970s? And while the reasons for this dramatic increase are complex, one thing is for sure. Many of the female prisons are absolutely terrifying. These are the scariest female prisons in the world. Number 10, Julia Tutwiler Prison, Alabama, USA. The Julia Tutwiler Prison for Women, situated in Wetumpka, Alabama, has been operational since December 1942 and bears the name of the esteemed Alabama educator Julia S. Tutwiler. She was an advocate for the betterment of prison conditions, education for inmates, and the establishment of a classification system. The facility can house approximately 700 inmates and has a death row that accommodates 4. It features a variety of specialized units catering to the mental health, medical, and special needs of pregnant, elderly, or infirm inmates. However, the institution's history is marred by serious issues, including a rampant problem of sexual abuse and harassment by staff towards inmates, casting a long shadow over its reputation.
Terrible experiences is when you see officers that are actually attacking inmates or sexually abusing them, and you're told you better not say nothing.
It was once recognized as having the highest rate of sexual assault in the country among women's correctional facilities. In 2014, a Justice Department investigation highlighted the widespread issue, describing Tutwiler as having an overwhelmingly sexualized culture, with shocking evidence that indicated a significant portion of the staff engaged in sexual acts with the prisoners, some of which resulted in pregnancies. In response to these alarming findings, the prison implemented reforms, such as installing security cameras and recruiting more female officers, leading to a predominantly female-run environment. Despite these efforts, Tutwiler continues to struggle with severe overcrowding and a persistent history of sexual violence, which led the Equal Justice Initiative to lodge a complaint to the Justice Department in 2012. This environment of fear and the prevalence of overt sexual misconduct have contributed to Tutwiler's notoriety as one of the most unsafe and egregious prisons for women in the United States. Number 9, La Mesa Prison, Tijuana, Baja California, Mexico. La Mesa Prison, located in Tijuana, Baja California, near the U.S.-Mexico border, is a penitentiary grappling with significant overcrowding. Originally constructed to house 2,600 inmates, it now contains nearly 7,000, including 511 women. The inmates serve an average of 5 years for crimes ranging from theft to murder. Previously, La Mesa operated almost like an independent community known as El Pueblito, where inmates could purchase upgraded cells. Some were even outfitted with luxurious amenities like shiny tiles and jacuzzis. This era is marked by its violence, with 2 lethal riots occurring in 2008 alone, incited by grievances over inmate treatment and exacerbated by dire living conditions. Sister Antonia Brenner, a Catholic nun, dedicated over 3 decades of her life to the inmates of La Mesa, earning the affectionate titles of La Mama and the prison angel for her selfless service.
The darkness, I'm going to bring some light. I'm going to make it better. It's going to be, I'm going to clean it up, not a physical cleaning, but to see the goodness in somebody is cleaning.
Recent years have seen the prison's transformation, with the demolition and reconstruction in 2002 to better the living conditions and the introduction of stringent security measures, including extensive surveillance. Additionally, La Mesa now includes a maximum security area called El Hongo, established in 2002 in the nearby mountains. Over 3,000 inmates have been transferred there as part of a plan to repurpose La Mesa into a minimum security facility, specifically for women and those with disabilities. Number 8, Heilongjiang Women's Prison, Heilongjiang, China. Deep in China's northern Heilongjiang province, there's a prison with a reputation for being very tough on prisoners who step out of line. At least 31 Falun Gong practitioners have lost their lives after being brutally tortured at Heilongjiang Women's Prison. A Chinese woman told a shocking story not too long ago. She was treated very badly for almost 3 years in prison just because she refused to give up what she believed in. She was handcuffed, put in a small, lonely room, and got roughed up by guards and other prisoners. She talked about how tough the guards were, trying everything to make her stop following her faith. Yet what was even more frightening were the rumors that the prison might be involved in something very illegal and scary, trading organs. Other prisoners said their blood was taken without them saying it was okay, which made everyone think there could be some really dark secrets in that place. Next, let's see which prison is even scarier than the last. Number 7. HM Prison Holloway, London, UK. HM Prison Holloway, once Western Europe's largest female penitentiary, has a history that dates back to 1852, when it opened as a co-ed jail before transitioning to an exclusively female institution. The prison was notorious for its stringent regulations and harsh conditions, and was known to incarcerate some of the most infamous figures, including suffragettes who fought for women's rights, prisoners of war, and even the infamous child murderer Myra Hindley. The prison sought to rehabilitate its inmates by offering educational opportunities, ranging from vocational training and cleaning science to creative pursuits like gardening and painting. These programs were complemented by a visitors center aimed at maintaining family connections, managed by an independent charity. In November 2015, the announcement came that Holloway would be shuttered, which it was in 2016. Since its closure, there's been a significant debate over the site's future, with many advocating for the preservation of its legacy as a part of feminist history. Number 6. Bandy Up Women's Prison, West Swan, Australia. Have you ever heard of Bandy Up Women's Prison? It's a maximum security lockup lurking near Perth in Western Australia. Initially designed to house just 68 women, it has significantly expanded over the years. As of the latest reports in 2021, the prison accommodates both sentenced and remand inmates across various security levels, though only a fraction, about 10%, are actually deemed maximum security risks. The conditions within Bandy Up have raised concerns, particularly regarding overcrowding. A stark illustration of this issue was highlighted in 2019 when the Office of the Inspector of Custodial Services found inmates were still resorting to sleeping on mattresses on the floor due to a lack of space.
Certainly a challenge every single day. We do know that, people try different ways of getting stuff in.
This overcrowding was brought to the forefront by union reports in 2016, which indicated the facility was exceeding its capacity by around 100 inmates. Further emphasizing the gender dynamics within the state's prison system, as of 2010, women constituted 8% of all prisoners in Western Australia, with 252 of them being at Bandy Up. The continued scrutiny of living conditions and capacity strains at Bandy Up underscores ongoing challenges within the corrections system. Number 5. Pollsmoor Prison, Cape Town, South Africa. Imagine a place so packed and scary, they call it a living nightmare. Pollsmoor Prison is just that, a place where the walls are so close together and the rooms so stuffed that there's hardly a spot to breathe. More than 7,000 souls are crammed in here, way over what it's supposed to hold. It's a place where you're shoulder to shoulder with some of the most feared people, like gang leaders and even those who've taken lives. People here make their own rules, join gangs to survive, and riots break out because it's so rough. Inside, you would find bunk beds stacked on top of each other, where 40 people might share a space made for far fewer. Some sleep in tiny cells so small it feels like the walls are closing in, 3 people in a space meant for 1. There's never enough food and water to go around. Showers and toilets are a rare luxury. Even Nelson Mandela spent time here, feeling that haunting ache for a glimpse of the sky. And then there's Marlene Laneberg, the scissor murderess, the youngest woman to get a life sentence in South Africa, right here in Pollsmoor. It's a place that's so tough, even visitors and workers need a spot like the small eatery Idlanathi, just to have a moment of normal in all the chaos. Number 4, Kachon Concentration Camp, Kachon City, North Korea. The Kachon Concentration Camp, also recognized as Kyo Hwa So No. 1, is a notorious prison in North Korea situated in the Kachon County, close to the city's heart, but hidden behind a small hill. This expansive facility stretches about 300 meters in both length and width and is sealed off by a daunting 4-meter-high wall topped with barbed wire. As of 1992, it was reported to confine roughly 4,000 men and 2,000 women, consisting of political detainees, alongside common criminals. The camp's stated intent is the re-education of its prisoners through forced labor and the serving of sentences. Nonetheless, the reality is far bleaker, with inmates often detained indefinitely under dire conditions.
Those who made mistakes were prisoners. Those who made no mistakes were guards.
Credible reports have surfaced detailing torture, extreme starvation, and even executions within its confines. Kachon is just one within a network of political prisons and concentration camps across North Korea, believed to incarcerate about 200,000 individuals. The sheer scale and severity of these camps have led to comparisons with a vast gulag system. The conditions within these camps, including Kachon, are among the most brutal globally, characterized by extreme food shortages, grueling labor requirements, and a regime of arbitrary and inhumane executions. Number 3, Grand Valley Institution, Ontario, Canada. In the quiet of Canada hides a scary prison with stories that can make your heart race. The Grand Valley Institution for Women may seem calm from the outside, but inside it tells scary stories. This prison is known for something very sad and shocking. A young woman named Ashley Smith, who was only 19, died there. Guards watched and did nothing for a whole 45 minutes while she was in a lonely cell, fighting alone. Her tragic end is something that people can't forget about this place. This is where people lose hope, like in 2019 when prisoners got so upset they wouldn't go back to their cells, shouting out because of all the bad things they were going through. Not many workers stay here long. The sadness of the prison is too much for them. And when a big sickness hit the whole world, this place got really scared and didn't even have simple things like soap to help keep clean. The prison is supposed to house 215 people, but it's almost full. Inside these walls, women are trying to get their lives back, using programs and help offered, but it's like a small light in a very dark room.
I really want to go home to my family. I don't deserve all this.
Number 2, Lowell Prison, Florida, USA. Lowell Correctional Institution in Florida is not just a large women's prison. It's a place of scary stories. Open since 1956, it's held some of the most dangerous women in America. One of the most feared was Sheila the Peeler, locked away for life for killing 2 men in a horrific way. She claimed they were criminals too, but what she did to them earned her a haunting nickname. This prison also hides dark secrets, like a sudden outbreak of a serious sickness, tuberculosis, that popped up with 7 people getting sick and nobody knowing how it got in. The shadows grew darker when, in 2014, an inmate named Latondra Ellington died under mysterious circumstances after she said she was being hurt by someone known as SGTQ. Interestingly, in 2021, when an inmate named Keiko Kopp told everyone about the bad conditions through videos on TikTok. Despite this, the prison tries to offer programs to help the women there, like schooling, job skills, and help for addiction and mental health. but with its history of fear and mistreatment, Lowell Correctional Institution is a place you wouldn't want to find yourself in. Number 1, Indiana Women's Prison, Indiana, USA. The Indiana Women's Prison was founded in 1873. This institution holds the distinction of being the very first in the United States exclusively dedicated to incarcerating women who have committed crimes. Today, it's a spooky place with a lot of sad stories. It's known for having many prisoners who are very sick, have disabilities, or are old and weak. The most frightening story from this prison is about Gertrude Banizewski, who did something very bad to a young girl named Sylvia Likens. People say it was the worst thing to ever happen to someone in Indiana. Now, the prison has room for more than 700 people, and it has a special part where mothers can stay with their babies and learn how to take care of them. Even though there's a place for the worst criminals on death row, no one is there right now. The prison's scary past is so important that some people who stayed there wrote a book about it, telling all the dark secrets from long ago. Which of these scary prisons haunted your thoughts the most? Now, as we conclude, I'd like to invite you to watch the video on the screen. This video will take you on a journey inside some of the most dangerous and secure prisons in the world.